So I have 3 different sources, which I basically make as like place setters almost. So I have one for updating Fortnite, which I've used like once, and then I have stay tuned for if I'm like not directly at my computer. I made it with a whole bunch of pictures of my creatures, obviously. And then the one that I have seen is the one that I use for all my games. I make individual sources, which I suppose you technically wouldn't have to do, but I have different ones for each game. For the most part, they're all the same. There's a couple that might be a little different depending on what settings I need on the actual game. So that's what I have in there. And then I have this on, that way I can mute either my microphone and or desktop audio. So normally if I'm like stepping away from my computer, I'll mute both. Or if I'm not in Discord with somebody, then I might leave like music playing or something. Are there any specific ones you want to look at? I also keep my my YouTube stuff open over here, although typically I look at it on my phone, not on here. But using since I stream to YouTube, the YouTube live control panel, it'll show me how many viewers I have, chat rate, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously the chat is just the chat in there. So for this one, I have my mode to capture a specific window, and then I have it set specifically to Cozy Caravan, and I do that for a lot of my games. That way, typically it won't capture my entire screen if I go out of the game, but this one I had to specifically put to match the title, otherwise find window of same. And then the only two that I typically have checked off in here are capture cursor. That way, I mean, it didn't so much apply to Cozy Caravan, I suppose, because you don't necessarily see a cursor, but I have that on there. And then that anti-cheat compatibility hook. If the hook ray is normal, and then all the color stuff is just like your standard red, green, blue. And this is what I have for most of my games. Sometimes, depending on the game, for the sounds, I don't really have any specific settings, I don't think. Yeah, I pretty much just have the default. I haven't had to necessarily change any yet. I don't have any hotkeys or anything added in there, just because I have too many games that would, I think, make it too complicated. But yeah, I have everything just defaulted. Usually, I mean, it's just my desktop audio, so I mean, it just captures pretty much everything on my desktop. When I first was setting everything up in here, I had it, I think, just on my speakers, which obviously didn't work. This is the name of my actual like monitor, but that also didn't work because it was only capturing sounds from my monitor, which was nothing. So I tried default, and default worked. If it doesn't work, I would maybe try your actual, like, I don't know if you have PC or just like a laptop, but whichever one. try it out of there first. And sometimes, depending on how your settings are, it might be picking up, like if you play it out loud on a speaker versus like a actual headphones, it might be picking up the sound coming out of your speakers. If you use headphones, usually that doesn't happen as much. Click on your audio and then filters. Which filters do you mean? I do, yeah, I have a headset. From the audio mixer. Do you mean on my desktop? I have nothing. I had played around with it for the filters, but this just got to be too much. I had tried at one point, I think it was the noise suppression, but it messed everything up. And then I got frustrated with it, so I closed it. So I don't have filters on either of them. So it's basically just open audio. Which is why on my microphone you can probably sometimes, when I'm not talking, hear quite a bit of background noise and possibly my fan. I also have just a very quiet, soft voice, of course, so half the time I have to mess with all my audio settings anyway. Like in Discord, I had to change my output volume and sensitivity. So, yeah, a lot of times I don't mess with at least the microphone stuff. Because if I had the noise suppression on there, it wouldn't pick up my voice. So, and that's why you can see I have my desktop audio a little bit lower and my microphone all the way up. Because if I turned it down, you probably wouldn't be able to hear much. Actually, I'm probably just going to delete this one because I typically don't stream anymore when I'm updating. Any other things you want to look at? Want me to show you or whatever? Sweet. Well, let me know if you come up with any other questions.